What's up, you guys? This is G-Leauge back with another video, and in this video today we're going to be discussing Victor Wembanyama. But before we start this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more basketball content each and every single week. Let's get into it. So Victor Wembanyama is arguably one of the most hyped prospects in NBA history. We all know the amount of pressure and expectation that LeBron James had coming into the NBA, and the media was not as big as it was then as it is now. And for Victor, he's on an even bigger scale when you think about it. This guy has been talked about since he was 16, 17 years old. I remember when there was already reports about him and about his talent and his level of skill, of his height. Everything that he was just different, and that's why he's so unique in this way, because there's not many guys that is this tall that is doing what he's doing. 7'5" with an 8 foot or above, even more, I believe, wingspan. This type of prospect as well, who can dribble the ball really, really well for a center at that height, at 7'5", who can shoot threes really fairly well for a guy that size. I mean, he's doing things on the basketball court for center that has not really been done ever. For starting off this video, we have to talk about him getting drafted, of course, to the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs, come on now. The Spurs, they have had many international talents on their team, of course. Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. They've had many great international players come through, and they've developed these guys into really talented basketball players. And think about it. I mean, the Spurs are one of the most prominent organizations in all of sports. They're gonna definitely help him in his development, and not to mention you have one of the greatest coaches of all time, really the greatest coach of all time right now in the NBA, coaching you, for crying out loud, Greg Popovich. And it makes it even better that he signed an extension of 5 years worth $80 million. I mean, the guy is 74 years old. He's going to be coaching until he's 79. That's crazy. He's already the oldest coach in the league, and that's just crazy. But when you add on the knowledge and the wisdom that he already has and his experience, that what he can give to Victor Wembanyama is going to be really crucial for his development overall as a player. And I think that him getting drafted there, you couldn't have asked for any better franchise to get drafted to for a player. And of course, speaking into all that, the 2 games that he did play in the Summer League. Now, as many people all know, he played really bad in game 1. I don't really have to go over everything that happened because many things have already been covered, but we all know he had a bad shooting night. He really, as he put in his own 2 words, he did not really know what he was doing on the basketball court. And let's not forget, he was pretty rusty. He hasn't really been playing basketball for the last month. And, fatigue played a factor in it. He came from France playing basketball there and stuff as well. And there's just been, enough time comparison to other players here in America to really have time for him to rest and just really recover and, actually get back on the proper routine of playing basketball. And, of course, some of those things took into consideration. But what really stood out to me, really, just to talk about something different in comparison to what other people have already said about him in this way, but it's the fact that he still held himself accountable, that he knew that he wasn't doing. You got to think about this. This guy is one of the most hyped prospects of all time, and he literally went out and said in a very calming demeanor that he did not know really what he was doing out there on the basketball court. If that doesn't tell you right there that the qualities already that he has, that as a player, but not just as a player, but as a person, that he's actually willing to grow his game and work on it and admit the things that he's not really, doing good, that says a lot. And I believe that's going to really play a big role in his success. And it was even said that, I can't remember, it was some article I was reading, but he was supposed to go out to this big main event or this party or whatever, but he ended up going because he wanted to learn and grow from game 1 and learn from all the mistakes and learn all the details of what happened in that game to actually translate into the success. And guess what? That showed in game 2. He dropped 27 points, shot 9 for 14 from the field, and he played overall a really good game, and he learned from the weaknesses in game 1. And I think that really just shows you the type of player that he's going to really grow into and become. Now look, his strengths is very good. I mean, this guy, you can't guard his shot. Let's be real. His wingspan is extremely high. his center of gravity. I mean, everything about what he can do as far as jump shooting, it's non-question that even though he's not the best jump shooter, I would ever say, for his size and what he's doing, it's just very, very talented. Nobody's going to be able to guard his shot. He's already shown his abilities well to do the pick and pop, come off screens, get great wide open opportunities in the paint, and get easy dunks. Not to mention, he's very good in the transition. Being at that size, he has very long strides. His ability to really just get in the paint and really get what he wants. In transition, it's really hard stopping a guy like this. Being at that size, he has many advantages. And, you know, his post play is pretty well. It's not the greatest because, of course, he needs to still add on more strength. And this is definitely going to be something that's shown in the NBA. He's going to get bullied by bigger guys because of him not having that strength and size. He will get bullied, essentially. But overall, he is a very, very good offensive player. Not to mention, he's, of course, a great playmaker. I mean, even in transition or if he's driving in the paint, he knows where to find the right reads for teammates. He's a willing passer. That's something that he's definitely shown, especially in the Summer League, that he is willing to pass the ball. And someone that size, of course, you can already see over everyone. And he's going to definitely be able to make right plays for his teammates. But I also think that his real potential really shows on the defensive end of the basketball court. Of course, he has the potential to be one of the best shot blockers of all time. When you look at that size, that height, that wingspan, I mean, he's easily blocking many guys' shots. I remember one play, I can't remember it, the guy had 6 feet, you know, of space, and he still blocked the shot like it was practically nothing there. To mention, his ability to switch on guards and guard them because of his quickness and his footwork overall is really great. He'll struggle somewhat early on against bigs. The only advantage he has is height. Of course, we all know, as I said earlier, strength is something that will have to be worked on, but he will still be a very, very great defender because he can pretty much do it all. He can switch on the smaller guards. He's great in transition on defense as well. And not to mention, of course, his rim protection is going to be very valuable. So really, when you look at the skill set of this guy, he really has potential to be an all-around player. You know, I mean, I think the Spurs, especially in the Summer League, they're really just experimenting with him, seeing what works, what doesn't work, and which was really smart, of course, of them to do. And, you know, they pulled him out because now it's just time for them to really work on his game and, you know, just move on. We all know that injuries at that size is going to be really, really tough not to have. I mean, he's 7'5" for crying out loud. And, you know, when you look at guys in the past, like Yao Ming, for example, you know, what ruined his career mainly was injuries. And he was, what, 7'6", I believe, at that height. And he had injuries throughout his NBA career, which did cut it short. I'm not saying the same thing can happen to Victor Wembanyama, but it's always just a concern there of trying their absolute best to prevent him from having those injuries, because we all know what happened with Kawhi Leonard when the situation happened with him. He left. It's just crazy. He just was like, you know what? I had enough. I'm out. Overall, I'm not really worried at all about Victor Wembanyama. I believe that he's going to be a really, really talented prospect, and his weaknesses in his game are things that can be fixed with time. And, you know, people talk about, oh, you know, he only had 9 points in the first game, but you got to think about it. He had still a great stat line across the charts, despite shooting 2 of 13 from the field. And, of course, in game 2, he lived up to better expectations. And I think with time, this guy has the potential to become one of the greatest prospects of all time. I think with his maturity already at his age and his work ethic and where, you know, he wants to be and the organization that he's part of, that's going to really give him all the wisdom, knowledge, everything he needs. There's no telling the ceiling that this guy has in his NBA career. But that's all I really want to talk about today in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more basketball content each and every single week. Have a great day. Peace.